Hey, so if you think bird feeding is just something you do in the winter, you are missing out on the biggest, most exciting show of the year. Let's dive in and talk about how to turn your backyard into a critical, five-star pit stop for the incredible fall bird migration.
I love this quote because it is so true. Fall is when everything is in motion. You've got birds flying thousands of miles stopping to refuel, and you've got your year-round residents trying to pack on the pounds for winter. It just creates this amazing, action-packed scene that's completely different from any other time of year.
And that's the big question, isn't it? It's not just about tossing out some seed and hoping for the best. Nope. It's about strategy, it's about timing, and really understanding what these birds truly need to survive. And that's exactly what we're going to break down right now.
Okay, so first things first, we've got to understand the mission. A bird's needs in September are just worlds away from what they were back in June. It all comes down to one thing: having the right fuel for the long journey ahead.
So check this out. It's actually a pretty simple shift. In the summer, birds are all about raising their young, so they need tons of protein, insects, bugs, for growth. But in the fall, it is all about the calories. They need high-energy, fat-packed foods to power those long flights and survive chilly nights. So the big takeaway here is you gotta shift your thinking from protein to fat. So, what's on this high-fat menu? Well, this table basically lays out the essentials. Black oil sunflower seeds, they're your all-around winner, a real crowd pleaser. Safflower is fantastic if you want to attract cardinals. And peanuts, well, peanuts are going to create what I can only describe as absolute chaos for jays and woodpeckers. And suet, we'll get to that in a second. Okay, get ready for this, because this fact right here is a total game changer. A single peanut can pack more than 12 times the energy of a sunflower seed. Seriously? That's why offering a variety of these high-fat foods is so important. You're basically giving birds different ways to get the most fuel in the shortest amount of time possible. And speaking of maximum fuel, let's talk about suet. Just think of it like the ultimate bird energy bar. For guys like woodpeckers, chickadees, and nuthatches, it's an absolutely essential, super easy to digest source of pure energy. When migration is at its peak, trust me, suet is king.
All right, now that we've got the menu figured out, let's design the restaurant. See, having the right food is only half the battle. You also need the right hardware and the right layout to serve it up effectively and, more importantly, safely.
I mean, you wouldn't open a restaurant with only one table and one kind of plate, would you? The same thing goes for your birds. You're going to need a variety of feeders because different birds have different ways of eating. A tube feeder for the finches, a platform feeder for sparrows, and of course suet cages. Those are the absolute basics.
Now here's a pro tip. Think vertically. Finches and chickadees, they feel safest way up high. Cardinals and jays, they prefer a mid-level spot. And then birds like sparrows and juncos, they're natural ground feeders. So by creating these different zones, you're giving every species its own little space. It really cuts down on the chaos and makes sure everyone gets a chance to eat.
And where you actually put your feeders is just as important as what you put in them. Try to place them about 10 to 12 feet from any shrubs or trees. This gives the birds a quick escape route if a predator shows up, but it doesn't give that predator a place to hide and ambush them. If you can find a south-facing spot that's protected from the wind, well, that's pretty much the perfect setup.
And whatever you do, don't forget the drinks. This is a big one. As natural water sources start to dry up in the fall, a clean, reliable bird bath can become the single most attractive thing in your entire yard. And here's the secret weapon: add movement. A simple dripper or a little solar fountain can attract migrating warblers and other birds that might otherwise just fly right on over.
Okay, so the restaurant is designed and the menu is set. Now let's talk about opening hours and kitchen cleanup. Your timing and your maintenance schedule are absolutely critical for success.
You see, the fall migration happens in waves. You'll want to get started in late August, even before that first big push. Then, by mid-September, when things are really ramping up, you should be ready to triple your feeding capacity. October is all about offering the maximum variety possible, and then by November, you can start to scale back to a more consistent level for your winter residents.
All right, this part is non-negotiable. A busy feeding station can become a breeding ground for disease. So, cleanliness is crucial. A quick weekly clean with soap and water is great, but a deep clean once a month with a mild bleach solution is essential. And always rake up all the spilled seed and hulls on the ground below your feeders. So, you've mastered the basics. You've got the food, the water, and a clean setup. How do you take your backyard from just a feeding station to a true, thriving habitat? You need to start thinking of your entire yard as the restaurant. Planting native shrubs that have berries, things like dogwood or viburnum, provides natural food sources. And, just as importantly, it gives them protective cover where they can feel safe. This is how you create a complete ecosystem.
And this is where the fun really starts. Begin keeping track. What kind of birds are showing up? When do they arrive? Over time, you'll start to see these amazing patterns, and you might even be able to predict when certain birds are going to arrive each year. Your backyard basically becomes your own personal science lab.
And you can take that one step further. By sharing your simple observations with what are called citizen science projects like FeederWatch or eBird, you're actually helping real scientists track migration trends on a massive scale. So your hobby can actually contribute to a much bigger understanding of the natural world.
And that's really what this is all about. When you get this right, your yard stops being just a patch of grass. It becomes this critical link in a massive chain, a life-saving refueling station for billions of birds on one of nature's most epic and challenging journeys.
Look, the fall migration is about to begin. It's an incredible show that passes right through your neighborhood every single year. You have the power to make a real difference in that journey. So, looking at your yard, are you ready to open?